Hey guys, how you doing? So I thought I'd start making some videos which show areas which I'm not very good at in terms of playing drums, where I practice them and improve myself, and I'll also talk to you guys about the things that go through my head to try and make this practice session effective. So the reason why I put up Naive, the song on Drummyverse, as such a high difficulty is because there's this section right at the end where you're playing eighth note hi-hats whilst playing the ride. So the pedals, your left hand pedal's going on eighth notes, and the bass drum is changing between triplets and um, and 16th notes. So it's quite a hard pattern to do. And every time I play that song live, I always get to that part and I want to play that section, but I sort of shy away. And I mean, technically, it's not very difficult. It's just I've never actually sat down, figured out the coordination, and solidified that drum beat so that way I can add it to the proper version of Naive. So today's practice session, that's my goal, and I'm going to give myself about an hour to do that. Hopefully, it'll take me a lot less. I always give myself extra time. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is just playing, getting used to playing bass triplets. I'm just going to be hitting right hand, bass, bass, right hand, bass, bass, right hand, bass, bass, but in a triplet way. So it'd be like ba, boom, boom, da, doom, doom, just around the kit. And then I'm going to switch to my left hand. And then I'm also going to add the hi-hat pedal on beat one. And I'll provide sheet music below the video so that way you guys can understand what I'm trying to do. Cool. So I'm starting to feel like I'm getting that coordination, and I'm now ready to play that with a metronome. I'll just be trying different tempos until I find one that's really, really comfortable, and I'll start with that, most probably very slow, and then I'll slowly build it up and see where I can get that up to. Also, the metronome, I'm going to be playing with triplets, so it'll be a triplet-based metronome, so I can align my bass drums with that metronome. So what I'm noticing is that as I'm playing this rhythm, as soon as I start to speed up the metronome, I'm starting to flam my right and my left hands with the hi-hat pedal. So I've really got to concentrate and try and make sure that my right hand, the hi-hat pedal, and my left hand, the hi-hat pedal, are not flamming as I'm doing this exercise around the kit. I was playing through that rhythm. I went from 110 to 120 BPM to 130 BPM. Then my technique started to change to more of like a heel toe. And I kept going till about 150. I wouldn't suggest doing this as much as I did because now my leg's actually quite tired and I've only just started. That was all hands to feet. I haven't even started looking at the concept. So, and we're also like 15 minutes in. So I'm going to start looking at the concept now. And the concept is to change between 16th notes and 16 note triplets. So the best way to approach this would be to put a metronome on 6 beats. And basically the first time you're playing it, you will go snare hi-hat. If you're counting it like in 6/8, you'd be counting it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ultra slow, just to conceptualize the difference between changing to triplets. I'd be hitting the snare and the hi-hat on beat 1, and then the bass on beat 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'll play the snare and hi-hat on beat 1 and the bass on beat 3 and 5. So dutch, boom, boom, dutch, boom, dutch, boom, boom. And that's the correct way of looking at it graphically from going from triplet back to straight 16ths. Let's try that out. So I'm doing this at 8th note triplets at 70 BPM. Ninety. Interestingly enough, I'm actually noticing a serious lack of time keeping with the basslet triplets when I play it with my left hand. And it shouldn't be like that because I'm not doing much stuff that's different. So that's an interesting point. Should probably note that down. From 140 onwards, the metronome starts to get really fast. So I recommend instead of constantly keeping it up, it gets to the point where your brain can't really well, my brain anyway, can't really distinguish between each metronome click. So I'm just going to start slow now, with that same rhythm in mind, and then stop the metronome and slowly speed up and see what happens as I speed up. But I have been practicing that concept now, so it should be definitely getting there. All right, awesome. That concept's definitely coming along now. I think I'm ready to start playing some drum beats. So, just to revise, some people have troubles playing the hi hat on every beat whilst playing bass drum permutation, like eighth note bass drum permutations. So, just to start off, I'm going to play that. Forget about triplets, and then I'm going to try put everything I just covered together to play that Kooks drum beat. All right, I was playing that at 100 BPM, which is the tempo of the Kook song. Everything felt really good. I also tried adding a triplet in there, and I did end up playing it correctly, so that's great. I'm now going to take out the transcription, and I'm going to literally play the transcription from very slow drum beat to speed it up. So I think I'm going to start at 70 and try speed it up to 100, and then I'm done. All right, now for the final step, I'm actually going to play the transcription. Definitely do less hands to feet than I did at the start. Only stick to maybe 3 different metronome timings, because my right leg's basically gone right before I do what I wanted to do in the first place. So if you look at the transcription of the music, it's got 16th bass notes, it's got the hi-hat on all the 8th notes and all the bass drums on the 16th notes, apart from the last partial, which has got a triplet in there. So I'm just going to play the coordination without the triplet at 70 BPM, and then I'm going to try to add the triplet in. Cool. Also, something else that I think is quite important to mention, I've got my metronome at 70 BPM, but I'm listening to 8th notes because I'm always hitting my hi-hat on the 8th note, and I'm switching between 16th note bass drums and 16th note triplets. And so if I've got that 8th note there, rather than the quarter note, it sort of reinforces that I'm playing the correct timing. sounding pretty good. I feel like adding the triplet now, so let's do that. 70 BPM. Alright, I forgot to actually press play on the audio of the Logic track, so you're going to get dodgy camera audio for a little while. But we're back to the proper Logic Pro audio. Uh, 70 BPM is definitely a good tempo for me because I can really mess with playing the triplets a little early or playing them a little bit late. I've still got that control where I can still shift them around within the triplet space. Let's try 80 BPM. Actually, one more point. Also notice that when I build a drum beat, I don't just try and read the entire thing. I'll start off with just my hi-hat, my ride, then add the bass drums, then add the snares, and then and the crashes, and then lastly add the triplet bass drums underneath. Alright, 80's definitely still doable. Let's go on to 90, which is just 10 BPM lower than the naive speed. So I'm definitely starting to experience some difficulty now that I'm only 10 beats per minute behind the original song. You can take one of two ways. You can just go back to 80 and speed it up by 1 BPM and just keep playing it and keep playing it. But I just decided to split the beat up and take the hi-hat, snare, and crash off and just play ride and bass drum. And as I was doing that, I was noticing that I can play the bass drum triplets fine. It's just a matter of connecting that now with that the rest of those rhythms. So I'll try that one more time, and if I still don't get it, I'll go back to 85 beats per minute. so simple and strange, the concept that if I just remove the crash cymbal, I can play the drum beat fine at 90 BPM, but it's from going from that double bass drum to a snare and crash, that's what's messing me up. 90 beats per minute is definitely my top speed for this exercise. I wouldn't want to go higher because I'm still not constant at it whilst being completely relaxed. So I'm going to keep practicing that at 90 for a little bit longer, and hopefully I can get a really nice clean recording for you guys. So close. It's also really interesting to notice that when you're focusing so much on just your bass drum triplets, you start to think of where am I putting my bass foot compared to the pedal? Where can I maximize my speed? So you start to toy with a lot of these concepts that you probably don't get to think of usually because you don't focus on such a specific thing on the kit. One more try. Alright, so that last try sort of failed. Definitely wasn't as good as the previous try, so I'll end up using that as my 90 BPM because you get to a point where you start to feel fatigue, and I don't think I'd have to take at least about a 40-minute break before, trying this again. I didn't get to 100 beats per minute, but it's not necessarily a negative thing. For example, I couldn't do this coordination at the start of the day, and I got from 0 BPM to 90. 100 was my goal, and if I were to practice this for another 2 days, I'm sure I could attain that goal. It's also important to notice that if I were to play this at a gig, I could feel like maybe trying to chuck it in there and see if I can fluke it, because sometimes in the heat of the moment you can just play it. But obviously you want to practice it so you can do it comfortably. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know how you guys go with this. Some of you will find it easy from the bat. Some of you guys will find it probably even harder than I did. So this is something that I wasn't good at, and I obviously got better at it, and hopefully I'll do an update of this video in a year's time, and I'll be able to easily do it at 100 beats per minute. Thanks for watching. Bye.